Good night, everybody. I'm Roberto Silva from the Striker, Texas. This is a special edition of our Striker Texas podcast. Today's a video cast. We got some guests here with us. We got um, almost all of our full panel, and I'm going to start introducing everybody here. My friend Joe Rodriguez, directly from El Paso. You're there at the football stadium. You just did a UTAP game. How are you, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's a pleasure to be on this live broadcast via our social media outlets for what is going to be, I'm sure, an exciting Western Conference final of the USL Championship. Good to be here.
All right. Down on the south border, we got Edson Ochoa. How are you, my friend? With your
I'm
famous Tigres jersey, you had to bring that in, huh?
I'm doing so well. I'm so stoked to see who's going to emerge victorious in this Western Conference final. I know the Eastern Conference final is going on right now with surprising result. Let's see if that continues with the Western Conference one.
Of course, everybody knows that we sent Jonathan Check to Orange County. He's there. He's having a ton of issues with the technology, with the internet there. The stadium is not working well. So we're going to try to bring him in. He's been on and off here in the broadcast. So we'll see how it goes. If we can, we'll bring him in. If not, you can follow social media. He has our account. He's posting things every minute almost there from all day long in Orange County. So let's start talking about the other semifinal of the USL Championship, or the Eastern Final that's going on now. It's the 62nd minute. Tampa Bay losing at home to Louisville 2-0. How surprising is that, guys?
Oh, definitely surprising. The fact that it's a 2-0 game, and what we were talking about before we started this live broadcast, it seems like Louisville has this game in hand. I think that's the surprising element to this game, not so much that what the score is or the fact that Louisville is winning. Obviously, these two teams head and shoulders above everybody else in the Eastern Conference. Logical to make the final in the Eastern Conference. Completely the opposite of what happened over in what is the Western Conference. Obviously, with all due respect to San Antonio and to Orange County, but I think there was more protagonists, more people that could aspire out in the West as opposed to in the East, where it was pretty much just. It seemed logical, and it seemed rather difficult. It seemed rather difficult for other teams to kind of get in. So that it doesn't surprise me. The fact that one team is dominating the other, the way we were talking about, I think that's what I find surprising about the
Yeah,
league.
I agree with you. We talked about this in the podcast at some point. Beginning of the season, if we would do a bracket, I think most of us would put Tampa Bay and Louisville in the final in the Eastern Conference, right? The Western Conference, it's was really a lottery, like it has been, right? Seeing El Paso get out of this process, some of the other teams that were very strong, not even making the playoffs, like we talked about New Mexico, like you've been saying all the time, right? You thought we would be there. Before we go into San Antonio and Orange County, which I want to do, Edson. Um, any things to talk about after a week of that loss, with the emotions down? I still feeling good about the season.
I definitely am. I think at the end of the day, the improvements are there. The improvements are notorious from one year to the other. To the fact I had a friend of mine that reached out to me today. He was a huge basher in the beginning of the season about the Toros. He mentioned that he was surprised and in a good way on how much the Toros improved after their independence. And I definitely agree that this lays a very solid foundation for 2022 and to see what the silly season is going to bring for RGVFC come next year or next season.
Perfect. Again, one more question before we go into San Antonio and put all the focus in this podcast to that game tonight, which is why we're here. Joe, any updates with the new coach search for El Paso Locals?
All is silent out here in the borderland, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, nothing has been even rumors. I've kind of had my ear close to the ground to see, but no, nothing to report. Yes, with regards to the matter, the one thing I do want to report here, and it's something I caught way late last night on social media, was on Luis Lucho Solanek's social media accounts, particularly his Instagram, where basically he just thanked everyone affiliated, associated in any way, shape, or form with the El Paso Locomotive for having an amazing season. And he said that it was a very memorable experience. Obviously, things didn't end the way everybody wanted. And he just wanted to say thank you to everybody. And he ended it with saying he's excited for whatever the future holds. And you can take that whatever it means. One thing with Lucho is he doesn't like to sign contracts for more than 1 year. He kind of takes it a year at a time. So whether he comes back to El Paso or doesn't remains to be seen. So for him to just make that comment, obviously it just kind of opens up the door for speculation as far as if Solanek is going to be back another season.
Very cool. So again, to all of our listeners that were here expecting to see Jonathan Check on site at the stadium, he's there at the stadium doing an amazing coverage of the game for us. But the internet is failing on us down there. I would expect a better internet connection in California, right, guys? But we don't have that. But anyways, let's start with the easy question, right? Can in the game tonight at 9 o'clock Central Time between San Antonio and Orange County, can San Antonio beat Orange County and make the final next Saturday on the 28th at 7:30 Eastern Time? Sorry, 7:30 Central Time. The grand final that is going to be played most likely in Louisville as of now. So, who wants to start? Can they make this? Okay, so Joe, the bomb is on you. How do you feel? Do you feel confident that San Antonio can bring this trophy home tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. Obviously, we've talked about it over the course of since May, over the course of the last 7 months. With regards to the matter that San Antonio, I know, I forgot there was a tweet that we posted on the Striker Texas saying that Jonathan Check had always been very even keel with regards to how he did his analysis of San Antonio, not giving them too much credit, not really, he being critical in an appropriate manner. But I think this team peaked at the right time. And one of the things with regards to San Antonio is I don't think um, I don't think that San Antonio ever. They've been very efficient doing what they do. I don't think there was ever a point in the season where they were really really bad, and they're definitely peaked. So I think San Antonio definitely has what it takes to beat an OC team that I will say the times that I've seen them, the times that they faced the Locomotive team, they're a team that really dirties up the game, not being rough or questionable. They just kind of impede their opponent from really doing what they want to do, from executing. So I think that's where their bread and butter is. And I think if San Antonio has a difficult time in any point in that, it'll be with that. The good thing about San Antonio is they have a lot of variables to their style of play, and that's what I like about them, and that's why I like their chances here tonight.
And not only that is the fact that in those circumstances that you mentioned where OC is going to kind of break the play, it's when teams have possession of the ball, when they're a possession-based team, when they're the ones that feel comfortable controlling the ball. San Antonio isn't that. San Antonio is a team like, okay, here's a ball, let's see what you can do with it, and now I'm the one that's going to be breaking your opportunities with those two blocks of four. So I honestly think, and like we talked about, in the Striker Day House podcast this week, Orange County struggled against RGVFC when RGVFC played that style, coming aggressive right from the starting whistle, with RGV getting that first goal only 2 minutes into the match. Now, I know I was tweeted at by Andy King, who is a podcaster for OCSC, and he said, well, that was under the previous coach that isn't here now. But I do think that if OCSC maintain at least that sort of consistency in their play style, I think San Antonio is going to give them a run for their money at least.
It's my understanding that OC has dropped the lineup. Do you have the lineup there, Edson?
Yes, I do.
Can you go over?
Sure. So the starting lineup is Rakovsky on goal. Then you've got Damas, Calvillo, Eloski, Kaningas, Powers, Maccabee, Alston, Richards, Orozco, and Kiernan.
All right. So there's the lineup for Orange County. As soon as we get the lineup for San Antonio, we'll bring that up. But Jonathan has written a very nice preview of the game today. So go to the Striker Texas while you're listening to us. You can read that preview. We don't expect any changes in the lineup. We got Jonathan trying to connect again. I'm gonna try. Let's see if at least we can get his voice. I know we got no image, but let's try here. Um, Jonathan, can you hear us? Are you there? I guess not. So I really believe that this is going to be a very close game tonight. I think it's one of those games that anything can happen. It's San Antonio has a very strong team. I think especially those first 10, 15 minutes, if they're able to come strong like they have done in the past, I think they have a big chance on making this happen.
Yeah, no, definitely. And with regards to you saying that it's going to be a close game, is it going to be a game that goes 120 minutes? I think the probability of that happening is rather good, personally. So it'll be interesting to see how San Antonio reacts to that. One of the things I would like to see in this game is for the young man Gallegos to do his thing, because I think I think he's a factor for San Antonio at all times, and I think the better that their young player looks over the course of the game, I think San Antonio has a lot more variables to attack. And just as I say that, Roberto, we have someone on the joining us.
We have, and it's not a doctor. It is our Jonathan Check directly from the press box of Championship Soccer Stadium. Jonathan, can you hear us? We see you at least?
I cannot tell you how happy I am after 20 minutes of trying to make this work. I tried a secure Wi-Fi, and I can hear you guys.
All right. That's great. That's great. So you didn't miss much of the thing that you haven't heard all of us saying before, Jonathan. So let's go. We're discussing now. Can San Antonio win tonight, and what do they need to do to take this trophy home tonight?
Of course they could win tonight. I mean, I've said it consistently, and this team, I would say, could beat anyone on their night, but even just kind of playing, maybe not average, but playing their particular brand of soccer. And something that I was actually maybe going to turn on you guys, honestly, is how do you think this game being played at Orange County might affect San Antonio FC? Because if you ask me, this playing here at home, Orange County is going to have to be maybe a little more attacking minded. I mean, we've talked about the defense, but
yeah, but they were not like that, right? Last week they were not like that, right? It was a very no, how can I say, not defensive game, but there was not that many chances during the game. You know, it was a slow game overall. I felt last week from Orange County in the semifinals. So
no disrespect. I think that's how they play.
That's it, right? That's it.
What do you think?
So
I agree.
And if
I really didn't see much from Orange County FC from what I saw in their game against Oakland Roots. They really were not as explosive, and I don't know if that's going to play against San Antonio then. With
I mean,
the fact, with the fact that with the fact that San Antonio is going to wait and see what they can bring. But if they're just going to be passing the ball around, I think this is where that high pressure that they did against RGV. I think this is where they can be very dangerous, and that's where Jose Gallegos, him moving around in that midfield and trying to cause disorganization on the Orange County defense.
I'm also, I want to say just really quickly here. Sorry for everybody. I'm looking to the right side here now and then because I have the Tampa Bay Louisville game. It's on the 76th minute. Very heated game, by the way. Louisville still up 2-0. So it looks like that at this point that the final next week on the 28th, 7:30 Central Time, hopefully with San Antonio playing that game, it's going to be in Louisville. Going back to you, Jonathan. How is the environment there at the stadium? How was you were with the supporters group from San Antonio coming to the stadium, crossing with the Orange County fans? How is the environment out there?
The environment is, I don't know if I would say electric. I don't know if that's probably a cliche word, but it's a very lively atmosphere here. A video I posted earlier with a guy juggling, he was saying, this is the last game of the season, and, win or lose, it's true. So Orange County is pulling out all the stops. They want this to be a really big occasion and obviously get their majority of fans here excited and riled up and ready to cheer their team on. I unfortunately didn't get to see many San Antonio FC fans except my parents, which, of course, I see them all the time. And Steve Arters of Copa Tejas fame, I saw him as well. I know Carrie Gleedle, Sam Gleedle's mother, is here. And I actually hear, I think it's in section 1, and maybe I'll try and go there before the game starts, but there's supposed to be a decent number of San Antonio FC fans and family that I guess maybe even got tickets from the club.
You talked about Steve, our regular here at the Striker Texas, founder of the Copa Tejas. He did a post this morning on his social media account, which was very funny, where he's like a battle between his heart and his mind, deciding if he had to go to Orange County or not to see the game. And at the end, he follows his heart and goes to San Antonio. It's very funny, especially if you find out that tomorrow he's out in a trip, international trip in vacation. So it's that's a kind of the commitment that it is very cool on with the supporters group on every club. Again, do we have, Jonathan, if you can check, do we have the lineup already for San Antonio? If so, let's go over that. Meanwhile, while you take a look at that, I want to bring this up. I think it's important how I am close friends with both general managers of these two teams, Orange County and San Antonio. Two very well-run organizations. Tim Holtz running San Antonio FC. So good luck to you, my friend. And in Orange County, Oliver was also a good friend of mine. I know a lot of work is put into these two franchises. So to the good of the game, anybody that wins tonight is being a good thing for the game. It's two very well-run organizations. But again, I'm sorry, my friend Oliver, but I'm with San Antonio tonight. Hopefully, San Antonio can make this final, and we can still have talk about professional soccer games in 2021 about Texas teams until next week. Do we got the lineups, Jonathan?
Yes, we do. First, I want to say though, Roberto obviously is enjoying me not being in Texas today and wants to ship me out to Louisville next week. So that's the motivation behind all this. But anyway, for SAFC, honestly, no surprises. It's been the same lineup for, I feel like, 2 months now. Jordan Farr in goal, of course. Mitchell Tainer, Jasser Kamiri, Courtney Ford across the back. PC, Mohamed Abu, and Connor Maloney in midfield. And actually something I've been listing this formation as a 4-3-3, 4-4-3 numbers.
Yes.
I've been up for like 18 hours today. I don't know. It's crazy. Forgive me. But anyway, But actually, if you look at the average positions and the way SAFC actually listed it in their match notes for this week, it's more of a 3-3-2-2 now, as interesting as that is. And so that's where you have Jose Gallegos and Marcus Epps sort of sitting between those more defensive-minded midfielders and the strikers. And then, of course, Nathan Patino up top. All 5 goals so far in the playoffs. I mean, if they continue it tonight, it's not going to go well for Orange County. As I said in my preview, Orange County has not been scoring very many goals as of late, even though they haven't been conceding many either. If SAFC can get multiple goals, it's hard to see Orange County matching that.
Well, when you present that kind of lineup, my question is are either of these teams going to attack one another? It's a joke. I kid.
I sure hope so.
Hot potato.
There were very many takes of the video that I did in front of the reflecting pool that fell on the cutting room floor. And in one of them, I talk about how both of these teams can be really defensive. Hopefully, we see some exciting soccer. It might be a chess match, though. But the thing that I was getting at earlier, though, is Orange County can't afford to defend as much in front of their home crowd. And I wonder if maybe that will leave more space in behind for SAFC to exploit.
All it takes is one goal. That whoever scores the first goal, that's going to force the other team to have to open up. And how San Antonio plays with Jose Gallegos and how fluid he is, man, that is going to be dangerous territory for Orange County if San Antonio scores first.
I agree. I think the key tonight lies through Gallegos and how he's going to respond to the moment and to the stage and to what they're playing for. I mean, it is a conference final. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out of this. Not trial by fire, but yeah, I kind of want to call it that because he's played a ton of minutes over the course of the regular season.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, again, guys, just to keep everybody updated. 82nd minute, Tampa Bay 0, Louisville 2. Still, I've been saying this to you already. It's a very heated game, which is a fun game to watch. Tampa Bay is getting close to score, and is it in? Oh man! Yes, they scored 2-1. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting end of game. Oh my
And
God!
You know what? Tampa had most of the possession, but they weren't really successful in getting those shots on goal. I was looking at the stats right now.
Yeah, no, and this goal here was one of those that the balls that you hit like 4 or 5 times. It hits, comes back. You have like almost 20 players inside the box, and the ball is popping everywhere, and it goes in. Very interesting game here. Hopefully, we got a same excitement with the game tonight there in Orange County. If you would have to bet, Jonathan, do you bet that this is a game of 120 minutes, or is this a game that's going to be over in the 90 minutes?
As tight as this is, I could definitely see it going 120 minutes. Whether I favor one or the other, I think I'm going to pick a happy medium. It's not going to go to penalties. I'm going to say it goes to extra time. Maybe ends 2-1, 1-0. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So let's make it easier on everybody here. Does this game has goals in the 90 minutes, in the first 90 minutes? Do we see goals tonight before it goes to extra time? What do you guys think?
Yes.
We see goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the opening 90 minutes, in the 90 minutes, yes. I don't think we see goals in the first half.
You think it's going to be a tight first half? Everybody's going to come in electric, holding it back, and not allowing. That's going to be interesting. That's not good, right? That's not good for San Antonio, right? San Antonio has been much better when they're able to come strong and score in the first 10, 15 minutes, right? Every time that they have not done that, they have succeeded also, but most of the time they have struggled more when that doesn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, SAFC definitely prefers to, as we've talked about, get that early goal, get on the front foot, and if they do, that's just going to be a probably quite a shock to Orange County's system. But again, the atmosphere here is really good. I'm sure the players are going to be up for it. The fans will too, and I'm sure they'll bounce back. But SAFC, as I've talked about, has had a really solid defense as of late. They have done fantastically at getting that early lead and just strangling the game, not letting their opponent get back into it. I mean, 3 straight clean sheets, and then last week they concede a penalty. It's going to be really tough if SAFC somehow gets that early goal. And something I will say though, we're talking about, we're not going to get goals in the first half. Did we expect Louisville to go up? 11 minutes in? Expect the unexpected. These games are not won on paper or form. They're one out there on the pitch that you guys can't see because this is my face. But if we could predict this perfectly, we wouldn't have the 90 minutes, and the 90 minutes is.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But trying to predict anyways, right? Trying to let's make it a little bit fun here. Let's teletransport ourselves. 200 minutes from now, and looking back at this game, who do you expect, the three of you, to be the MVP of San Antonio tonight? Who's the best player that's going to come out of as the hero tonight?
Well, I think, if the victory is done, you're going to have to owe a lot of it to their defensive unit, not a particular player, but to their defensive unit. Simply put, because it's going to be a defensive oriented game. So I think that's who you're going to need to see, and I think it would be absolute heartbreak if one lapse of concentration is what determines the difference in this.
I'm going to go.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
With PC.
PC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was very important in that semifinal against RGV. Very, not just the play itself, but controlling the game overall. Managing, being that leader in the field. I agree with you. He did very well. Jonathan, who do you think? Oh, not fair. Let me do my one first, and then you finish. You're there. You know more. I'm a Patino fan at this point of the season, right? I sure hope that he has a great night, and I think if he has a great night, San Antonio is playing the final next week. As easy as that, because we know, like you said, Joe, the defensive system is a very strong one, very steady, very regular. So if Patino is able to show himself, or maybe even Gallegos, but if Patino shows up, we gotta win, and we're sending Jonathan to Louisville. Or Tampa Bay, maybe, but Louisville most likely next week.
Yeah, I think the obvious choice is to go with Patino because of 3 pulls in the last couple weeks. You could also maybe go with Nathan. I'm going to maybe predict that Orange County keeps a very, very close eye on those two. And I think that might open up the spaces for the likes of Jose Gallegos and Marcus Epps to make runs in behind. And those defenders are going to be questioning, okay, do I stay with these lethal finishers or do I go after the guys that are running into the box?
Perfect. Let's do this, guys. I know Joe needs to go. We started a little bed later today because we're trying to solve the technical issues in Orange County. So, Joe, your last words here before you leave. Edson and Jonathan, let's stay another few minutes into the end of Tampa Bay and Louisville, at least the regular time, right? But Joe, your last few words, what everybody should expect from tonight.
Oh, I think we've summed it up perfectly. I think it's going to be a highly competitive game. It's going to be entertaining, but not in the traditional sense of offensive-oriented, attractive soccer. Just, I think, the intensity for one of these teams to pull out the victory and win the conference and advance to the USL Championship Final. I think it's going to be intense from that standpoint. But I also think it's going to be a game that, I'm calling it right now, it's not going to be determined in the opening night or in the 90 minutes. I think it's going to go into either overtime and then, unfortunately, into PKs, where we all know it's a coin flip. But at the end of the day, I see San Antonio coming out the winner in this one.
I just have to put just a quick reminder here. If this game goes to PK, Jonathan is going to be up for 24 hours because he left early this morning in San Antonio, and if this goes late, he's going to be in trouble. Joe, thank you very much for joining us. I know you had a busy day covering also football down there in El Paso in the borderline. Everybody keep posted. Joe is going to be on the top of figuring out the next steps with the next coach for El Paso Locomotives. A lot of things going on in the USL Championship, Texas. Joe, thank you very much, brother. We'll see you soon. We just hit 90 minutes here on Tampa Bay Louisville, guys. Louisville is winning 2-1, 90th minute. Uh, interesting game. Interesting game. Oh, 4 minutes extra time now. So let's stay on for at least those 4 minutes. Um, who would you prefer, Jonathan, to play next week? Which team do you feel that would be better suited for San Antonio next week if San Antonio wins tonight and plays next week?
I was thinking about saying we should save this for the podcast. Oh well, you put me
Okay.
on the spot. I have to. But I have actually given this some thought. Honestly, I thought it might have been better for Tampa Bay to win because now, if SAFC advances, or even if Orange County advances, honestly, both of them would have to travel. They're traveling to a very dangerous and unfamiliar and volatile atmosphere next week. In terms of the fans, in terms of like 12,000 Louisville City FC supporters and some speckled SAFC supporters in there as well. But also, I have kind of I don't want to look beyond this weekend too much, but I have looked at the weather in Louisville next weekend, and their highs are lower than our lows. So I think for SAFC, it would be a huge shock to come into that weather. And again, for Orange County too, that is just incredibly cold, and they haven't played in those kinds of conditions for pretty much the entire season. So I definitely think, even though, and also Louisville has sort of this horseshoe stadium, whereas Al Lang, just the way it looks like, yeah, you can get 7,500 fans in there, but I don't think it's going to keep the sound in. It's maybe not going to have as good of an atmosphere. So I feel like even if Tampa Bay on paper is the tougher team, had the best record in the regular season, I feel like that would have been better for SAFC. Of course, this is all contingent upon them winning the match that I'm here to cover. That I have traveled far and wide and gone through. If you didn't see all the crazy things that happened to me today, check my Twitter at CheckJFooty. For 6 minutes, my flight was canceled, and then suddenly, on again. So.
I also want to say hello and congratulations also to John Neese, who's the owner of Louisville. Also, another good friend of mine from my times on managing a team in the USL Championship. What they have done in Louisville overall, it's really amazing, right? With the stadium. This morning they hosted the NWSL final there in Louisville, almost a sold out crowd. If I'm not mistaken, over 11,000 people there at the stadium this morning. And Louisville was not even playing, right? Which is amazing how much of a soccer culture they were able to create there. So I agree with you, Jonathan. I think Louisville it's going to be a tougher game overall than Tampa. I think. Well, and this game is showing a little bit here. Although, like we discussed, Tampa has more possession. Louisville has basically controlled the game almost all the time, which is pretty interesting. What do you think, Edson? Which team would you prefer to play in the final?
For me, wow. I think I would have preferred Tampa as well.
Yeah.
I would have preferred because they're a team that they're not very defensive oriented. Like they can defend well, but they don't rely too much on defense. Like they try to.
And so let me interrupt you. Last 94th minute, time is over. One last free kick. Maybe 15 yards from the box. Let's see how this is gonna play out. Of
you
course,
don't want to leave this show on a
all
cliffhanger?
22 players are inside the box almost, right? We got everybody, even the goalie. The goalie is there. Let's see what happens. Cross goes in. They defend. Rebound. Oh, corner kick. Is he going to let them play the corner kick? Yes, I think he will.
Yeah.
Let's see that. They're playing the corner kick. It's 95 minutes almost, guys. A very exciting game here with the other final. Uh,
Oh, that's it.
I never did this. I never was able to in English trying to do a radio.
Oh,
Uh,
oh,
oh man,
le pega, el
game.
10, el 33. Centro al segundo poste, cabezazo, gol.
No,
Wow.
that's
Gol.
Seriously?
Tampa.
oh yes. I'm on delayed. I delayed. It's a goal.
Wow.
2-2. He was
Gol.
Edson. I got a delay on my
La
TV. I thought you
tragedia
were kidding.
regresa.
I thought you were
Right.
kidding. Oh
I
my
wasn't,
god.
no.
Oh
I'm
my
actually.
god. This is so good. This is so good. Oh man. Okay. All right. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk on our post game show. Um, we'll 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 do our best. Depending on the quality of the internet down there in Orange County, we'll try to do a post game show tonight after the game. If not, we guarantee you guys that we're gonna have Jonathan Check posting videos and interviews and his analysis of the game in our social media accounts. Anyways, guys, let's go. Final words from Edson and Jonathan. Edson, final words before we go, so we can watch this over extra time here at the Eastern Conference Final.
Eastern Conference Final, like we say in Spanish, caballo que alcanza gana. So I think that maybe Tampa Bay is going to revert the situation and win it in overtime. And as
Oh
far as
my
the Western
God!
Conference Final, good luck to both teams. But I still think that San Antonio is going to emerge victorious.
All right, Jonathan. Last words before the game, and good luck there at covering the game tonight.
Thanks. I mean, been through plenty today with internet and everything. I what even is there for me to say anymore? I think this SAFC team and their style can really cause some havoc against Orange County tonight. They just need to make sure that they don't concede. If Orange County concedes first, they can strangle this game, and it'll be tough for SAFC to break them down. So much of this, I know it's kind of an obvious thing to say, but so much of this depends on who gets that first goal. Something else I will say though, SAFC last week beat an RGV side that had gone 120 the week before. This week, they're playing Orange County, who won 120 the week before. Next week, if they make it to the final, they're playing a team that won 120 the week before. What tremendous luck, if they make it, to have all of those teams with 30 extra minutes on their legs and penalty shootouts, the mental agony of that. Sometimes
That makes a difference. That makes a difference. It does. It makes a difference.
Kind of getting ahead of myself here, but Roberto doesn't mind looking to the future beyond the game that's in front of us.
That's it.
I will say, sometimes to make these playoff runs and to ultimately win a championship, it's a good team. Sometimes you get a bit of luck too. Who knows?
Very cool, guys. Once again, I wanted to say something. Also, Jonathan posted something today that 1 year ago he got the invitation to work with us. Ironically, it's 1 year later he's there in Orange County covering the final of the Western Conference for the USL Championship. We're very proud of what we're doing at the Striker Texas. We're bringing the best that we can. Soccer coverage. For sure, we're bringing the best coverage of soccer in the state of Texas for you. Hopefully, we get even better moving forward. And like I said before, hopefully, we're here back here after this game talking about Jonathan next trip to either Tampa Bay or Louisville. They're playing the other final here in the Eastern Conference. To San Antonio fans, good luck. Go have your beer. Go have your drinks. Bring your family together. ESPN Plus in 30 minutes, the kickoff. You're following the Striker Texas. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our platform. We can only do this because you're here for us. So enjoy the game tonight, and hopefully we'll see you later on with our post-game show. See you guys.
See ya.